warfare to offer profound insights into strategy, leadership, and conflict resolution. Sun Tzu's principles have guided military leaders, business executives, and strategists for over 2,500 years, providing timeless wisdom on achieving victory through intelligence, preparation, and strategic thinking rather than brute force. Reading this book will allow you to gain a strategic mindset that applies to business negotiations, personal relationships, career advancement, and competitive situations. The principles teach you to think several moves ahead, minimize conflict while maximizing results, and develop the mental framework of a master strategist. While this summary captures the essential insights, reading the full book allows you to absorb Sun Tzu's complete wisdom and apply his proven methods with greater depth and understanding. Chapter 1: Laying Plans. This opening chapter establishes the philosophical foundation of strategic thinking. Sun Tzu emphasizes that successful strategy begins long before any conflict, rooted in thorough planning and honest self-assessment. The five fundamental factors he outlines, moral influence, weather, terrain, command, and doctrine, serve as a comprehensive framework for evaluating any competitive situation, whether in business, relationships, or personal challenges. The concept of knowing yourself and your enemy becomes a cornerstone principle that extends far beyond military applications. In modern contexts, this translates to understanding your strengths, weaknesses, resources, and limitations while simultaneously analyzing your competition, market conditions, or interpersonal dynamics. This dual awareness creates the foundation for making informed strategic decisions. The chapter concludes with the revolutionary idea that the highest form of victory comes without direct confrontation. This principle challenges conventional thinking about competition and conflict, suggesting that superior strategy can make actual fighting unnecessary by creating conditions where victory is inevitable. Chapter 2: Waging War. Sun Tzu shifts focus to the practical realities of conducting strategic operations. He emphasizes that prolonged conflicts are economically devastating and strategically dangerous, as they drain resources, lower morale, and provide opponents time to adapt or seek allies. This principle applies directly to modern business competition, personal conflicts, and project management. The chapter introduces the concept of living off the enemy's resources. In modern terms, this means turning competitive advantages to your benefit. Rather than simply defending your position, superior strategy involves converting opposition strengths into your advantages. This might mean hiring competitor talent, adopting their successful practices, or positioning your offerings to capture their market share. Speed emerges as a critical factor because it prevents opposition preparation and maintains initiative. When you act swiftly and decisively, opponents must react to your moves rather than implementing their own strategies. This creates a cycle where you control the pace and direction of competition. Chapter 3: Attacked by Stratagem. This chapter presents Sun Tzu's famous and revolutionary concept. Winning without fighting represents the pinnacle of strategic excellence. He establishes a clear hierarchy of preferred approaches. First attempt to win through superior positioning and strategy, then through alliances and diplomacy, and only resort to direct confrontation when all other options are exhausted. The principle of attacking plans rather than armies translates powerfully to modern scenarios. Instead of competing directly with established players, superior strategy involves making their approach obsolete or irrelevant. This might mean changing the rules of competition, shifting to different market segments, or creating entirely new value propositions that make traditional approaches less attractive. When confrontation becomes necessary, Sun Tzu advocates for decisive, overwhelming action focused on the opponent's weakest points. This isn't about fairness or sporting competition. It's about efficiency and effectiveness. The goal is to achieve objectives with minimal cost and maximum preservation of values for all parties involved. Chapter 4: Tactical Dispositions. Sun Tzu emphasizes that skillful strategists focus first on making themselves undefeatable before seeking to defeat others. This defensive foundation creates the security necessary for patient, opportunistic offense. In business terms, this means building strong operational foundations, financial reserves, and competitive advantages before attempting aggressive expansion or market attacks. The concept that victory can be known but not made highlights the difference between strategic opportunity and wishful thinking. Skilled strategists develop the ability to recognize when conditions favor success versus when they favor waiting. This patience and discernment separate truly effective leaders from those who rely on luck or force. The chapter introduces measurement principles that focus on consistency over spectacle. The most skillful strategists win so efficiently that their victories appear effortless or even inevitable. This challenges modern cultures that celebrate dramatic turnarounds or heroic saves, suggesting instead that the highest skill prevents such situations from arising. Chapter 5: Energy. This chapter explores how strategic energy, the combination of preparation, timing, and coordinated action, creates overwhelming force at decisive moments. Sun Tzu emphasizes that skilled leaders build momentum through systematic preparation rather than demanding superhuman efforts from individuals. This principle applies directly to team leadership, project management, and organizational development. The crossbow metaphor illustrates the relationship between preparation and execution. Just as a crossbow stores energy through careful preparation and releases it with precise timing, effective strategy involves extended preparation periods followed by swift, decisive action. This pattern appears in successful business launches, career transitions, and competitive moves. The chapter emphasizes creating sustainable systems over relying on individual brilliance or extraordinary effort. While individual talent matters, truly effective organizations and strategies function through coordinated systems that produce consistent results regardless of who participates. This systematic approach creates scalable, repeatable success. Chapter 6: Weak Points and Strong Points. Sun Tzu presents the principle of adaptive strategy through the water metaphor. Just as water naturally finds the path of least resistance while maintaining its essential nature, effective strategy adapts to circumstances while maintaining core objectives. This flexibility allows strategists to exploit changing conditions and opponent weaknesses as they emerge. The chapter introduces the crucial concept of forcing opponents to defend everywhere while you attack somewhere specific. By creating uncertainty about their intentions and capabilities, you force opponents to spread their resources thin while you concentrate maximum force at chosen points. This principle applies to competitive business strategy, negotiation tactics, and resource allocation decisions. Information warfare emerges as a central theme, not just gathering intelligence, but actively shaping what opponents know and believe. By controlling information flow, skilled strategists influence opponent decision-making processes, potentially causing them to make errors or waste resources on irrelevant preparations. Chapter 7: Maneuvering. This chapter focuses on the art of positioning, how to reach advantageous positions before your opponents recognize their value. Sun Tzu emphasizes that strategic maneuvering often requires taking apparently longer routes that actually prove more efficient by avoiding contested areas or opponent strengths. The principle of arriving first at strategic positions creates cascading advantages. Whether in business markets, career opportunities, or competitive situations, those who recognize and secure valuable positions early force others to either accept disadvantageous positions or expend extra resources trying to dislodge them. This first mover advantage compounds over time. The chapter stresses the importance of patience and timing in strategic movement. Premature action can alert opponents and trigger countermeasures, while delayed action may find optimal positions already occupied. Skilled strategists develop the judgment to recognize when conditions favor movement versus when they favor waiting. Chapter 8: Variation in Tactics. Sun Tzu emphasizes the critical importance of tactical flexibility and the wisdom to recognize when not to act. This chapter challenges the common assumption that aggressive action always produces better results than patient restraint. Sometimes the most strategic choice involves avoiding action entirely, particularly when conditions don't favor success. The principle of maintaining adaptability while limiting opponent options creates a strategic double advantage. By keeping your own capabilities and intentions flexible, you force opponents to prepare for multiple contingencies. Simultaneously, by controlling their available options through positioning and pressure, you channel their responses into predictable patterns. The chapter introduces sophisticated risk management concepts. Every strategic advantage contains potential vulnerabilities, and every opportunity carries associated dangers. Skilled strategists learn to recognize these dual aspects and make decisions that maximize benefits while minimizing exposure to associated risks. Chapter 9: The Army on the March. This chapter shifts focus to leadership and organizational management during execution phases. Sun Tzu emphasizes that sustainable success requires building genuine loyalty and commitment from team members, which comes through demonstrating both competence and care. Leaders who show concern for their people's welfare earn the trust necessary for demanding situations. The balance between care and discipline proves crucial for effective leadership. Leaders must establish standards and maintain accountability while also showing genuine investment in their people's development and success. The balance between care and discipline proves crucial for effective leadership. Leaders must establish standards and maintain accountability while also showing genuine investment in their people's development and success. This balance creates the foundation for high-performance teams that function effectively under pressure. Environmental awareness emerges as a key leadership skill. Successful leaders constantly monitor changing conditions and adjust their approach accordingly. This includes recognizing signs of team morale, competitive threats, market shifts, and resource constraints before they become critical problems. Chapter 10: Terrain. Sun Tzu explores how environmental factors shape strategic options and outcomes. Just as military success depends on understanding terrain features, modern strategic success requires deep comprehension of market conditions, organizational cultures, technological landscapes, and competitive environments. The chapter emphasizes the value of local knowledge and relationships. Whether entering new markets, joining organizations, or navigating complex situations, those who invest in understanding local conditions and building authentic relationships with knowledgeable insiders gain significant advantages over those who rely solely on external expertise. Different situations naturally favor different approaches. Some circumstances reward aggressive action, while others favor patient defense. Skilled strategists learn to recognize these environmental characteristics and adjust their approach accordingly rather than applying uniform methods regardless of context. Chapter 11: The Nine Situations. This chapter provides a sophisticated framework for recognizing different types of strategic situations and adapting leadership approaches accordingly. Sun Tzu identifies 9 distinct situational categories, each requiring different tactical approaches and leadership styles. This situational awareness prevents the common error of applying uniform methods regardless of context. The concept of dead ground, situations where retreat is impossible, reveals how extreme circumstances can unleash exceptional performance. When people face situations where failure means disaster, they often discover capabilities they didn't know they possessed. Skilled leaders sometimes deliberately create such circumstances to drive breakthrough performance. The psychological dimension of strategy receives detailed attention. How different situations affect human behavior, motivation, and decision making. Leaders who understand the psychological factors can predict and influence both their own team's responses and opponent reactions to various strategic situations. Chapter 12: The Attack by Fire. Sun Tzu explores the principles of decisive action and resource management. When strategic situations require direct confrontation, the approach should be overwhelming and decisive rather than tentative or gradual. Half measures often prove more costly than decisive action because they allow opponents time to adapt and respond. The chapter emphasizes the importance of resource cultivation, developing capabilities, relationships, and assets before they're urgently needed. This preparation enables rapid, decisive action when opportunities arise, while lack of preparation forces leaders to act slowly or miss opportunities entirely. Every strategic action should have clear, measurable objectives that justify the resources invested. This discipline prevents costly mistakes and ensures that strategic energy is focused on outcomes that genuinely advance overall objectives rather than satisfying ego or addressing peripheral concerns. Chapter 13: The Use of Spies. The final chapter focuses on information warfare and intelligence gathering as the foundation of strategic success. Sun Tzu argues that no strategic investment provides better returns than superior information about opponents, markets, and changing conditions. This principle applies directly to competitive business intelligence, relationship building, and market research. The chapter details different types of intelligence sources and how to develop systematic information gathering capabilities. Rather than relying on casual observation or public information, serious strategists invest in building networks of informed contacts who provide insights into competitor plans, market trends, and upcoming opportunities or threats. Counterintelligence receives equal attention. Protecting your own strategic information while gathering opponent intelligence creates compounding advantages. Organizations that maintain operational security while penetrating competitor intelligence gain multiple layers of strategic advantage. This completes the summaries for The Art of War by Sun Tzu. If you enjoyed these insights and found them valuable, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe to stay updated with more book summaries. Your feedback and support are greatly appreciated. Embrace these principles to achieve strategic mastery in all areas of life, recognizing the importance of thorough preparation, adaptive thinking, superior positioning, patience timing, and information superiority. With these insights, you can navigate competition and conflict with the wisdom of history's greatest strategist and achieve your highest potential. God bless and take care.